Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Andrew Yang and my disposition with Andrew Yang and my journey back to Andrew Yang in the age of the shadow of Yang, right? And that's where we are right now. We all live in the shadow of Yang. 2020 to 24 will be the shadow of Yang. It will be these dark years where we live with the knowledge that we could have had a much better life if the American people had just had mercy and kindness and wisdom and intelligence enough to see the greatest leader that had ever been in front of them in 10 generations. Truly sad. All right. So I want to talk to you about a moment I just had. I just watched Andrew Yang endorse Joe Biden. Ugh. Right? I thought it was going to be like, ugh. I thought it was just going to tear my heart out, right? I waited days. I saw the headlines and I was like, I don't have the heart to watch that, right? Because I was like, I've already seen this champion fall. I've already seen, him like fall in his armor. I've already seen him beset by the dogs. I've already seen the political travails, fall upon him, right? I've seen him politically bloodied. I've seen him just politically bested, and I just can't see any more of his soul ripped from him, right? As he's becoming like a CNN pundit, and he used to be something. He used to be this super intelligent person who stood for this possibility of an incredible future that America had the possibility of having, and there was just so much, possibility in him. And now I'm like, what's he going to do now, right? And when I saw he had endorsed Joe Biden, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Here's the downslide, right? But the reality is, I put it on and I watched it, and there he sat with, talking to, here's Andrew Yang talking to, I cannot remember that guy's name. My apologies. He's one of the CNN talking heads. Been around forever, wears glasses, got gray hair, right? Not Wolf Blitzer, the younger version of Wolf Blitzer. They're very different, whatever, right? I can't really distinguish those people. They're all just talking heads to me, right? So basically, he's talking to this guy, major news source, right? And major news anchor at CNN, right? And Andrew Yang endorses Joe Biden, right? And I expected my heart to just, grinch up, grow 2 sizes smaller. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've lost all hope in humanity, right? But it was the exact opposite. My heart just filled with goodwill for Andrew Yang and a lot of glad tidings. And I just had so much mercy and goodwill for Andrew Yang in that moment. And it shocked me. My own journey back to Andrew Yang shocked me. Right? Because I was like, why is this happening? Right? Well, the reason why is, one, I have a lot of belief and just support and hope for Andrew Yang. Right? I really feel like he's an incredible leader. I really feel like he's the best leader who's been in America in 10 generations, period. Right? The fact that America didn't recognize that's not his fault. None of what happened was his fault. None of it. Right? His execution was darn near flawless, right? The only mistakes he made were simply because he was human, right? They're he's about as good as a human gets on this planet. That's my opinion of Andrew Yang, right? But the thing that really vexed me with Andrew Yang and made me so frustrated with him was that he quit, right? He bent the knee to challenge, and he was like, I should have had delegates by now. He quit when we were at New Hampshire. And he's like, I have 0 delegates, and I just can't go any further. I can't do this, right? And he quit. He bent the knee to challenge. Now, that's a heck of a lot better than what Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar did. They threw their own supporters under the bus to bend the knee to a human being, which was Joe Biden. I'm like, that's crazy. Not even give, with delegates in hand, you're not even going to give your supporters the opportunity to vote for you? What Pete Buttigieg did was unconscionable to his followers. Far worse than what Andrew Yang did to the Yippee-Ki-Yangs. Just like it, far worse, right? But I was really vexed. I was incredibly vexed. I was incredibly frustrated with Andrew Yang when he quit. Quitting is not in my vocabulary. I have an incredibly difficult time having any respect for or goodwill toward a quitter, toward a surrenderer. I can't do it. It's just hard, right? But quitting was now adhered to Andrew Yang, and so I really felt like I wasn't going to be able to find my way back to Yang. But like him endorsing Joe Biden was the moment when I really started to come back toward Yang. And the reason why was Andrew Yang is incredibly practical, right? He has name recognition. He is being taken seriously. He's been recognized as a genius. He's been recognized as a fun person. That's a big, important part of it, right? That's the fact that he's fun is a big, important part of him. He's very fun. He's smart and fun and noble and kind, and, you know, he's a great guest anywhere. He's like, you know, when you bring him into whatever situation you have, the situation's going to get better. And he's really incredible. And I think the reason why, you know, and I'm like, you know, endorse Joe Biden. Why on earth would you do this? It's terrible, right? Well, I think in his mind, the only other option was to endorse Bernie Sanders, right? Now, actually, I could do an entire video on him endorsing Tulsi Gabbard or not. The whole world is ignoring that Tulsi is running. That would take me a month to unpack. Like, I can't do it here, right? So I'm just going to keep going. So let's pretend that the rest of the world's right, and let's simplify things and pretend that the race is between Bernie and Joe. It's not, right? But let's pretend. Let's play along with the masses, right? For this brief moment, I am going to say it. Like, Tulsi's still in the race. Honestly, I wish Yang had acknowledged her, right? And that's who I really wish he should. I think Yang should have endorsed Tulsi, right? But he's a brilliant guy. He wanted, and if he had done that, he would have been a losing candidate, endorsing who the establishment media has already crowned as a loser candidate who hasn't lost, right? So his words wouldn't have had power, wouldn't have any value, right? But Andrew Yang does have value, and he does have power, and he doesn't want to waste it, right? And so he's saying, hey, Biden over Bernie, right? Believe it or not, as crazy as that sounds, well, first of all, I'm not voting for Biden or Bernie. I don't care if Andrew Yang said to, right? Like, there's no way. I'm not voting for Biden or Bernie, right? Right now, my vote is going to Tulsi Gabbard. As long as she's in the race, right? And every boy, oh boy, you know, like, who knows? That could change on a dime. I understand that, right? Like, yeah. So, but I understand why Andrew Yang said this. He wanted his name recognition to be used for something, right? I get that. He's incredibly practical. And when he did it, I was like, hey, he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing right now. He doesn't want to be a CNN pundit. He wanted to be president, right? Like, you know, but he's making the best of a bad situation. And I do the same thing, right? Like, you know, you put one shoe on, you put the other shoe on, and you head out the door, and you do what you can in the day. And that's what Andrew Yang is doing. I wish there was a better path. He's making the best he can out of a stinky situation, right? And when I saw him doing it, my heart just filled with goodwill, and I really believe I am finding my way back to Yang. And I think I am growing a forgiveness for the quit, for the surrender, for the bending the knee to challenge, right? And and it's important to me, like, that I kind of make my peace with Andrew's decision, because I don't think I had peace with it. I really did not have peace with it. It was a real thorn in my side. But I'm very glad to be kind of finding my way back to Yang. I think it's important, and I'm very glad that he is leveraging the power he has. I think it's a very good thing. Also, like, I also understand that everybody's really struggling right now. Like this Bernie Biden situation, the fact that we have we're guaranteed, we're virtually guaranteed to have an 80-year-old president. Ain't nobody happy about this situation. Like, just absolutely no one. Right? We're not voting for the lesser of two evils, but we are certainly voting for the lesser of two lessers. Right? Like, it's just, this is not where anybody hoped to be. I'm really, really sad at all of this. But I am glad that Andrew Yang is finding his footing and making his way back to a place of prominence and a place of usefulness. And and I'm keeping him in my prayers. I really, I want him to be powerful and useful, and I want him to help make a better America, if that's possible. It may or may not be possible. Very, very challenging and very difficult to see if that's going to be possible. I appreciate you letting me share this with you today. I'm gonna kind of apologize for this video. I really struggle to bring rationality and thought to my videos and to make them fun. But when it comes to Andrew Yang, I really am having a somewhat emotional and passionate response, because I was so emotional and passionate about the future he represented for America. I live near a blighted area, a small blighted town in Pennsylvania. I don't live in it. I live right next to it. And I can just walk 2 blocks, and the things that happen there are dark, and they're just abyssal, right? And just harrowing. And the people who live there deserve more, and I do what I can. My church, we have a food bank, and people from that blighted town come and they get free food all the time. And I am diligent in making sure that I'm giving into that community, but all of it's just throwing chairs off of the Titanic. And when I think about how much good would have been done by Andrew Yang's freedom dividend, and how much of an absolute devastating blow to American poverty that it would have given. And I think about, I'm not kidding, today I bought $300 in board games, and 4 blocks away there are people who, struggle to get a winter coat. And just think how close we were to having a future where American poverty was going to be put on the ropes. And the fact that the American people walked away from it, I'm still processing that. So I'm sorry that I wasn't able to bring a more rational, thoughtful video for you today. But I also, I do appreciate that I have that I actually do have a group of people who are willing to allow me to be honest and to share the things that are actually in my heart and in my mind. I cannot thank each and every one of you enough for walking on this journey with me. And I'm glad that I'm on the road back to being a proud and vibrant supporter of Andrew Yang, Yippee-ki-Yang. I want to get there. I'm still walking through some stuff. And again, I really appreciate your patience with me sharing this video with you. Thanks again. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.